Good afternoon from the Real Deal Kitchen. So we're kind of rocking and rolling in the kitchen today, which was not 100% anticipated. We've got some beef shank braising with dates and Ras El Hanout, a seasoning that a spice blend that I've been talking about over the last week or so. Got some apples baking in the oven and some cauliflower that's being caramelized that will also be seasoned with the Ras El Hanout. Um, just ratcheting up some food for the weekend, and that's what's happening on the cooking side. And there's a quote from the writer Elizabeth David that I wanted to read, and I hope I can read my own handwriting. I'm just starting uh, to write legibly again, somewhat, after this last experience that I had with the tumor growing around my cervical spinal column. That's taken out, but the return of my sensory and motor skills is coming back slowly. So let's see what I can do about reading my handwriting here. This quote I love from her, from Elizabeth David. It says, "Good cooking is honest, sincere, and simple. And by this I do not mean to imply that you will find in this or indeed in any other book the secret of turning out first class food in a few minutes with no trouble. Good food is always a trouble, and its preparation should be regarded as a labor of love." And I don't mean for that to be at all daunting for anyone who is just starting out exploring being in the kitchen, because uh, I want to encourage wholly everyone and anyone to prepare as much of their own food as possible. Even if you begin with just one thing a week or commit to one thing a week, it's so important, I feel, to imbue your food with your own essence, whether you're cooking for yourself or your family or for friends or all of the above. There's so much pleasure and love to be extended through the act of making your own food. So I think that quote has stayed with me for the many years that it has, because she really is speaking to something that extends beyond food. I think it has to do with how one lives their life, in that, maybe it's the anything worth having, is worth working for kind of idea. And putting yourself into anything in life, whether it be food or love or raising your children or work or how you care for yourself, all of those things require your engagement with them in order for them to, uh, in order for you to be connected to it. And if you're not connected to any one of those things, whichever one it is or all of them above, how can you know how to really serve it in the best way? And it's a learning process every day. So, one of the other things that I've spoken about that's part of my life and ritual in my life is working with the tarot cards, and not to get too esoteric about it. And I certainly consider myself a long time user of the tarot cards, but still quite a novice. And I mentioned a few episodes ago that I was gifted this beautiful deck of shamanic tarot, and yesterday was also the new moon, and I draw cards on the new and full moon, and I use them as kind of a pole star or guidance for that period of time until the next moon. But I still draw cards on a daily basis if I feel drawn to do so. And today, in addition to the cards I drew yesterday, I drew Sea Star, which is we can equate with the Ace of Cups in more traditional decks. And I think in some way this card goes really wonderfully with that quote, because it speaks to the possibility. The aces speak to the possibility of all things of that element, and the element of sea or water, which is what cups represent. Sea obviously relates to water, has to do with our emotions and our emotional life and our engagement with life on the emotional level. So again, when we're engaged with our emotions and our emotional life, the fulfillment comes not just by engaging the pleasures and the joys, the joy end of the spectrum, but the full spectrum of it, the labor of it, sometimes the loss, the sadness, the grief end of it. So engaging the full spectrum. So just like preparing wonderful food is trouble and a labor of love at the end of the day, all of living your life fully, embracing the fullness of my life, I feel, and your life, I hope that you might consider, is this full spectrum of the enjoyment that you have at the end, the joy, the pleasure of eating after you've put your heart and extended your full self into whatever you're preparing, and the labor that you went through, and perhaps some mistakes that have been made along the way, and things that maybe have been lost. So if you're equating it to preparing food, some things just don't work and you've got to let them go, which is hard to do, but necessary. And it's necessary to recognize when that is necessary, and the only way that we can come to know these things, when something is working and when something isn't working, to be able to differentiate, is through our full engagement with them. So I guess what I'm speaking to today is to offer you to consider that life is this full spectrum, from all the joys and the pleasures to the loss and the grief and everything in between, and that to live fully, to appreciate all of it, is vital, and is the real deal, and is part of the real deal kitchen. And I'm not sure what's happening with the cauliflower on the grill right now, but I hear my co-conspirator chuckling in the background, so I'm not sure. I'm going to find out in just a moment what end of the spectrum we're on with our cauliflower today, but I'm going to leave you with another view of this gorgeous sea star. And that last line of Elizabeth David's quote, "Good food is always a trouble, and its preparation should be regarded as a labor of love. And it truly is here in the Real Deal Kitchen. So I'll leave you with those two thoughts. And thank you for joining us as always. And be well until the next time.